We are running low on time, so we're going to get on to Ryan here in just a sec. And I just want to see if there's any last questions before we do that. Okay, great question. The latissimus dorsi is still going to insert, to the upper humerus. If it's got kind of dinosaur-like upper arms, it'll insert kind of a little bit lower, further down where the delta pectoral crest does, so it's kind of in the upper third of the arm then rather than the very top, which gives it kind of better leverage, and it would still have to originate, of course, along the back. Right, or possibly for reduction if it's a hexapod, yep. Yeah, a four-limbed dragon, Ishan is right, is actually a better design. Heck, make a flying snake. You don't have to have hind legs at all, especially if the forelimbs are vaulting the rest of the animal off. Now, you might say, but Scott, a snake has a long, flexible body, and that's not good. And that's true, but if you don't make it too big, you could kind of make part of the body a little stiffer right behind it and then let the rest of it trail kind of like a tail, and it wouldn't have hind legs to be shaking around and making it unstable, so it wouldn't be so bad. And when it took off, it could vault over those those wings, which is all it would have. But yeah, a dragon that was just wings with hind legs would be a far more plausible design. But that doesn't mean you can't make a hexapod dragon. It just makes it more challenging. Technically, there isn't a consistent wing-to-body ratio, Roman, because whether the wings are long and thin or somewhat shorter and broader impacts that. It's really a ratio between overall wing surface area and the body. However, realistically, most dragons and other really big animals are going to have fairly broad wings in order to be able to take off rapidly enough to generate enough thrust, since they're not just going to be gliders. And in that case, I'm okay with 3-to-1, honestly. If you get down into, up to like horse-sized animals, that's at least kind of plausible. And bigger than that, it's a cheat, but it's a reasonable cheat. Ooh, or a snake with 2 pairs of wings. That would make for a really interesting takeoff thing, too. That's a really cool idea. Okay, you guys are all very much welcome. For those of you who can make it for next week we're going to get into some really crazy stuff with how to put tentacles or insect parts on vertebrates and things like that. So that should be a lot of fun. But now I will turn it over to Ryan to answer your ZBrush questions and take it where he wants to go.
Hey guys. Got a couple more questions that popped up, Scott.
Sure thing. Let's see here. Would it be possible to create a plausible design with wings shorter than the body? If they're small enough, and especially if they're gliders. I mean, you saw like those flying lemurs basically did that. Whether they could flap successfully, I'm not so sure. The problem with making wings short and stout like that is while you do get a lot of lift, you get a ton of drag, which makes distance flying hard, Roman, and more expensive. So if they're like making hops from place to place, or if they're gliders, that would not be a problem. It would probably be a problem for animals trying to go anywhere while flying. Yeah, if the long tail could curl up, that would certainly help solve the issue. Anything that brings the mass closer to the body helps for sure.
All right. Let me ask you guys a question. Now, what would you guys want to see inside of ZBrush to help you get the most out of this class? Let me get a sense of that first. How to sculpt membranes. So by that you mean really thin surfaces. Membrane-like wings. Yes, okay, so membranes plus wings. Okay, and then Roman's good for the folding. So it's not only sculpting them, but how are you going to pose them? Yeah, and do you use Dynamesh? Do you use something else? Because all of those are going to have different ramification, especially when you start posing. Okay, quadruped skeleton and muscles. So Isan wants basically quadruped écorché. So that means that you want module 2 plus 3 plus 4, which should have been given to you guys. Purple people eaters, those are extra. New features coming your way this week for sure. And Tom making feathers. Oh, this is good. Okay, so new features. Oh, Brooke, you didn't get the animal anatomy. That's not good. We had a busy week, so that might have got passed, but I'm pretty sure I saw that happen. Anyways, I'll verify it in email. So here's what we'll do. We'll get you access to the quadruped anatomy. That'll be pretty straightforward from Animal Anatomy, and that's all ZBrush. And then we'll focus on bird anatomy, and what I'm actually thinking, and my audio might cut in and out because I'm using a different connection, but I might also create a very specialized bird anatomy section where it's just the anatomy of flight kind of thing, and I will detail in just an existing bird how the anatomy works so that you can have that foundation. And then I can show you membranes and wings and posing. And feathers aren't hard, but that'll be hard to get in with everything, but ultimately feathers will get covered. It's too awesome to not cover that. All right, so it looks like I got the next 2 weeks mapped out. So just keep an eye out for those. Animal anatomy will be today. I'll make sure that's today. I'll do that myself actually right now. And that'll get you some content. So if there's nothing else, then we'll call it a day, and I'll just get you all of this stuff in the next week and a half, 2 weeks. Wilda, yes, you will get the ZBrush animal anatomy stuff. I can't get you Marshall's, but I can get you my stuff. All right, we're good. Anything else, Scott? Are you good?
I think I'm good.
All right.
Excellent questions. I will definitely be taking a look at projects later today and tomorrow and throughout the week, so I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys come up with.
Thanks, Scott. All right, thanks everybody. Remember, save the chat log. So I'll keep this open for a bit. Have a good day, Remy. Let me know when you've saved the chat log, guys. All right, thanks, Michael. All right, closing out. See you guys.